kept to his word. Michael Anton, you make a good case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brit Hume is Fox's senior political analyst. And by senior, we mean senior and wisest. And he joins us tonight.
No, you mean
No, I don't actually. I mean, when there's something genuinely perplexing, you were the first person I think of to explain it.
That's a little frightening, but thank you.
You know, but so to you, the question is, how much change will this mean for us in the United States? Does this have effects that most Americans will feel?
Well, we don't know, because we don't know how effective we'll be able to be in reimposing sanctions without the participation of the other countries that were in the alliance that brought this treaty together. This executive agreement together.
Right.
So it could turn out that America's able to put really punishing sanctions back in place, and that the Iranians will react to that, maybe by becoming more bellicose, maybe by becoming less. No country that's going to try to be a big player on the world stage can afford to have a collapsing economy. So that's a fact. You need to be able to finance all this stuff. And of course, the argument that's made, of course, Tucker, is that Iran got so much up front. Stuff that's already out the door that Iran is enjoying the benefits of, as your previous guest Michael Anton mentioned, that getting out now doesn't really hurt them that badly, because much of the benefit is already
they already got what they need.
That all remains to be seen. What I think it does show, Tucker, is the fragility of big international agreements that are not treaties. Now, lots and lots of executive agreements are made by presidents with other countries, usually not on something this major. And of course, that meant that all it was an agreement between the previous president and the Iranians and the other partners in the deal, which means that this president had the option that he is today exercised, which is to renounce the deal and reimpose the sanctions.
The Obama people must be I mean, they really spent a lot of time, effort, and I would say brushed aside critical American interest in order to get this deal.
Well, remember, this was the reason, of course, why it isn't a treaty. Is that the administration knew there was no chance in the world that it could pass the Senate, which, you know, by a significant enough margin, if any margin at all, that it could be put into effect. So they did it the only way they could. And think of this, Tucker. He did a lot of things with his pen and his phone. A lot of regulations were imposed. A lot of things domestically were done, and they're all falling apart now.
Yeah.
So you know,
They were not permanent victories.
No,
so what, and we're still getting the results of the primaries tonight, but as you're watching so far what we know, is there a pattern that emerges?
Well, it looks to me like, so far at least, we're talking about Republicans who are going to oppose Democratic incumbents in several states. Right. So automatically you need a fairly formidable candidate to beat somebody who's already got the office. In Indiana, it looks like they've got a reasonably formidable candidate. Mike DeWine in Ohio, although you look at him, you think, well, who's that little guy? Well, he's actually been a very effective and successful politician for a long time in the state of Ohio, so he'll be a formidable candidate for that seat there. Of course, everybody's mesmerized by West Virginia, because you got this, this wacky guy, who's fresh out of a stretched crossbar hotel, who is believed to have some chance of actually winning that nomination, which of course a lot of people think would repeat the whole Roy Moore fiasco they had in Alabama, where the candidate who couldn't possibly be elected gets nominated.
Just for our viewers who may be confused by the term of art you just used, a stretch at the crossbar hotel means he just got out of prison.
Yeah, I thought that vernacular was reasonably well
so
done.
Good. Brit Hume, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Tucker.
Well, more and more Americans are concluding that the Mueller investigation may be motivated by politics rather than a search for justice. Can the investigation continue while preserving its legitimacy? We'll speak to a House Democrat about that.